Shalom Aleichem. Peace be unto you. I'm Pastor Bill Freeman, and a number of years ago I asked the Lord to give us a vision at Covenant Life Church, because in Proverbs 29:18 it tells us that unless the people have a vision, that they perish or they cast off restraint. So we saw the necessity of a vision. And as we prayed and as I prayed, the Lord gave me a vision concerning what He calls His everlastings. And in His everlastings, we see that He's a covenant God, and He made a number of everlasting covenants with certain people on the earth. He made a covenant with Noah, and the sign of it was a rainbow. He gave a covenant to Abraham, and we've built a facility to show people these everlastings. And in that covenant that God made with Abraham, God in Genesis 17:7 called it an everlasting covenant, and it's a twofold covenant. It's between Abraham's seed and a land. And we've got a diorama of that Genesis 15 land that's called the Promised Land. So we call this a Promised Land journey. But getting to the Promised Land was certainly a journey. Even in Genesis 15, God Himself prophesied to Abraham that his seed would one day be slaves in a land for 400 years, but that He would redeem them and He would bring them into what He called the Promised Land. Well, on that journey of Abraham's seed coming out of slavery of Egypt, which is a depiction of the world, they first journeyed through the desert for 40 years, but God had them to build a tabernacle. And we've got a tabernacle that we have constructed that's basically a life-size model of the wilderness tabernacle, and we have all the pieces of furniture. But what we do with those pieces of furniture is, in this vision, God has shown us that all that furniture, every piece, is a characterization or a type and a shadow of Jesus Christ. So we show Jesus from the gate to the Ark of the Covenant, and Him being the gate, and Him being, as we enter in that gate, we obtain salvation. We will also have a diorama of ancient Jerusalem in the 1st century, to where we can show Jesus where He walked, and where each, like the Mount of Olives or the Mount Moriah, where Golgotha is, and the Temple Mount, and Mount Zion, where the upper room was. But we'll also have a life-size tomb that we show where Jesus not only was buried, but where He was resurrected, that we might have resurrection of life for eternity. So we ask you to consider coming and visiting us at the Promised Land Journey. It's on the same property with Covenant Life Church on Highway 19 north of Meridian, about halfway between Meridian, Mississippi and Philadelphia, Mississippi on Highway 19. So we invite you to come and taste and see these things that God called Himself everlastings.